All right, what's up, everybody? This is Zacharias. We're back again with more of Avernum 3 Ruin World. We're in the town of Delis now. Probably just going to be another generic town, if I'm being perfectly honest. We have a lot of, I think, houses here that we can't get into because we don't have high enough tool use, but that's all right. This house has been abandoned for some time. Dust covers every surface, and there are thick, sticky spider webs everywhere. So speak of the devil. Actually, let me go ahead and show you all what Pool of Fire is like. I forgot I can accidentally burn my own. I was trying to aim it just at them, though. But yeah, obviously you do want to be careful with these area effect stuff, because they can damage you. Come on, I don't want to get too close or anything. Dagnabbit. You know what, let's just kill her. Yeah, I have like no room to do any of this. Okay, I won't be able to cast Full Fire without damaging her, unfortunately. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to just cure and all this other cure and heal. There's no way I can skip right now. I do hate that I hit myself with that, though. Okay, there we go. I never really cared for domination, to be honest. So let's just put both of those in the junk bag. And just like in the second Avernum game, if somebody's watching you, you won't be able to take an item that's marked as not yours. So you only do it when nobody's around, or you can only do it. Okay, this looks like this is a generic sailor here. A priest with a large sword sits at the bar, drinking prodigious quantities of grog. She turns as you approach, and you can see the booze hasn't affected her in the slightest. Hail to you, I'm Glidden. I'm captain here. Captain Glidden, not of the ship, of the army. What's your job here? I'm the captain in Delis. She eyes you carefully. Been here 5 years since I served in the Avernum campaign. What was the Avernum campaign like for you? It was a long, bloody business. I got nothing against the worms. It's nothing personal. Worms are what the Empire troops call the Avernites. But I'll gut any one of them who messes with my boys. She watches you carefully as she says this. No doubt she suspects you're an Avernite, if she isn't sure already. What are your responsibilities, Captain? I send out the patrols here, and keep an eye on what all happens in town. Plus, sometimes I gotta do priest stuff. I spent a lot of years as a holy soldier. You send out many patrols. I have to in these times, what with all the filth running around. They're good lads, out day after day wiping out slimes, and anyone else who gets in their way. If you catch my meaning, she watches you coldly. What is a holy soldier? Me. A priest who is good with weapons is a real asset in a fight, blessing and swinging. I did a lot of fighting and a lot of healing. We could use the services of a healer. You look alright. Just stay in the inn. A good night's sleep will fix you up. What else do you want, friend? Don't go causing trouble and we ain't got no problems. He takes a deep swig of the strong ale. What sort of town is Delis? This is a big seaport for stuff being shipped to from the north. Sometimes I think there's more than just shipping going on. What else besides shipping is going on? She shakes her head. Not my job. Don't know nothing about it. How goes the battle against the slimes? Badly. My soldiers are out everywhere, hunting for the foul creatures. We kill 50 and they kill one of us, and we come out the worse for it. I helped out one of your patrols that was ambushed by slimes. Well, she says, I never thought I'd see the day one of my troops was saved by an Avernum. You have my gratitude, friend. And if you're fighting the slimes with us, I have a bit of advice for you. What advice do you have for me? West of Crejan, on the south shore, we've seen the tower that has slimes working for brigands. She nods. That's right. Slimes actually enslaved the brigands. Someone should check that out. They might learn something interesting. Alright, that sounds very good to me. And we got a reputation boost. The town's innkeeper is old, bitter, and very warty. He doesn't look like he enjoys his job, and he certainly isn't impressed with you. I'm Carol. What do you want? That depends. What do you have? Well, I got the captain's room open for 5 coins. I got grog for 3 coins for a round. You're just lucky I'm serving landlubbers. You're calling me a landlubber? Yeah, what of it? This has been a town that lives by shipping. But with all the monsters, no boats are going anywhere. So we gotta serve people who don't make honest livings. He spits on the floor, but we don't have to like it. What do you consider an honest living? On the sea, that is a place for a man, not in dungeons and lairs like some sort of scavenging worm. What monsters are you having problems with? You know, the slimes, roaches, all that. Where you been? Avernum? No, Avernum? We've never been there. He nods, relieved. I hope not. I'd hope you just look as pale as and sick as a fish belly by choice. Now, what do you want? I can't just stand here all day. I'll take some booze. The harsh liquor burns your throats, and Carol chuckles mockingly. When you're done, he collects your mugs and whispers, got a secret for you, only 10 coins. Sure, what's your secret? He pockets your cash and leans close to you, giving you an excellent view of his wharves. To the north is Pergies. They do mining. Look around. I hear you can get supplies cheap at one of the mines, though they may not be serving outsiders much. I have to go. Not sorry to hear it. Say he just can't stand here all day, but yes, he's standing there all day. I would go in there, but I'm gonna wait until it's certain quest before we do that. Moo. Okay, we got some generic people. There isn't a fellow sitting at the desk. He bears the markings, necklaces, fetishes, and other symbols of a shaman. He's writing with the quill pen held awkwardly in his right hand. His left hand is just his thumb. I am called Claw. It's not often that I see a Nephil around here. What's your job? It makes a low rumbling sound deep in his throat. I run this flop. I was a sailor. Can anyone stay here? There are only rooms for sailors. It scrapes idly at the desktop with its claw. Why'd you become a sailor? I am not welcome with my people. It makes a brief, angry hissing noise as it says this. I went to the sea where a shark surprised me. He holds up his thumb. Now I run this flop and look after my fellows. His speech is unusually clear and unaccented for a Nephil. Why don't your people welcome you? Nephilim beliefs are Nephilim secrets. Who are your fellows? Sailors are my fellows now. Sailors of all types. Get many interesting types of people seen here? He makes an annoyed hissing noise. You ask too much, human land person. Are Nephilim allowed in Empire towns? Sometimes if they're far enough out on the frontier. Sometimes we're allowed in Empire towns, where we get to waste our time with foolish questions. What is this place? It's a flop. Sailors can sleep here while waiting for another berth. That means sailors are welcome here, unlike you. I think his dialogue is going to be slightly different if you do have a Nephil in your party, by the way. You meet a scribe. She is a middle-aged woman with a lovely dress, and a grimy adventurer in her office makes her very nervous. Even more so when she gets a close look at you and starts to suspect where you are from. Excuse me. Sorry, I am closing for today. Please go. Maybe return tomorrow. Okay, this is the same generic kind of chef I met before. So I don't need to read that dialogue. So yeah, Jeff for this game clearly put in a lot of generic types because he didn't want... I guess maybe he didn't want like too many people wasting time on the quest and stuff like that. Or a whole bunch of them anyway. Some members of the local militia stop you. One of them says, "Greetings, travelers. If you're coming out here to escape the slimes, you should know that we have enough refugees around here as it is. You can camp for a day or two if you have to, but you really should really think about moving on. It's for your own good." Giving you one last nasty look, they move on. Actually, I feel like I've already read that dialogue there. But we do have another town to explore here, which is Pergies. When you pass through the gate, you are immediately afflicted by a cloud of dust. It assails your eyes and lungs, gets caught in your armor, and makes the inside of your mouth taste like mud. Piles of ore are scattered everywhere, and the air is gray. Welcome to Pergies, mining capital of Cretian province. You can hardly wait to leave. So yeah, like I was saying, I think Jeff of Spiderweb Software put a lot of generic like merchants in here only because the game is already pretty big. It already has lots of quests, and I guess Jeff didn't want people wasting too much time, you know, with like just getting a bunch of quests, because there is a time counter that goes by days. And so far, what day are we on, by the way? Oh, we're on day 5. Okay. Ooh, we do have quests up here. Okay, so very handy we know where to find certain stuff. And of course, we got freaking slimes to deal with. Okay, dang it. I was actually... My group ended combat right on that purple shading. So... Still be on the lookout for people that are wandering in towns like this, though, because you may still find interesting named characters to talk to. So far, we have a lot of just generic people, though. This is a storeroom for processed ore. Crates and barrels of charred rock wait to be dealt with, awaiting a fiery end in one of the smelters. We have a child right here, it looks like. You think that this girl might be about 10, however, she's so covered by grime and ore dust that she could be any age from 4 to 16. Hi, I'm Susie, she says. What are you doing? I'm looking for slimes. Isn't that dangerous? They're big and nasty, and when I see one, I yell so the guards can kill them. Don't you get frightened of the slimes? Nah, I want to be a big adventurer and go to Avernum. Why did you pick Avernum? I hear there are weird pale people and big evil monsters down there, and I can fight them and get treasure. And what would you do with the treasure? Be rich and famous, so then you'll be happy. Yeah, and then I can go to bed whenever I want. He squats on the ground and picks out a scab on her knee reflectively, pondering this wondrous fate. Oop. Susie watches you with interest. You must be the most interesting people to visit Pergies in a long time. You mean pale like me? Yeah. He stops and thinks. A lot like you. Better be careful. People might think you're from Avernum and are big monsters and stuff. There are a lot of monsters in Avernum. Monsters are bad. Okay, so we have another generic shopkeeper by the name of Tinker. The Tinker looks up from a rather intricate repair job. You can't help but feel that his face looks familiar somehow. I am known as Mary. Welcome to my shop. Mary watches you expectantly, trying to detect willingness to buy something. What sort of shop is this? My siblings and I run shops such as this all over Avernum. I have a host of fine tools you can purchase. Also, I deal in used goods. Any supplies you no longer want, you can sell to me. Have you many siblings? Yeah, my parents were well blessed with children, and they taught us well the toolsmithing trade. We have since left home and spread all over Avernum, opening shops and playing our trade. You may have visited one of my brothers or sister's shops. You would be able to tell because of our unfortunate naming situation. Unfortunate? How so? My parents were somewhat uncreative, so they gave us all the same name. Kind people, our parents, talented with their hands, but perhaps not at the optimal level of intelligence. How many kids did your parents have? Not sure. I left home before they were finished. They brought many of us into the world and taught us well. However, when it came to naming us, it was an unfortunate situation. Let's trade. Like many shops all over Avernum, the store sells useful tools and other supplies. Okay, a lot of the stuff is just generic stuff we don't need. I don't need anything else. Safe travels. If you meet any of my brothers, say hello. Okay, and yeah, one of the funny things about this game is that there are some shopkeepers in the game named Mary. And yeah, I was just debating on why Jeff included so many generic shopkeepers, maybe because the game is so big and it would be a lot time consuming. That's just my best guess. And this is just a generic chef here. The bar is being tended by a large and vigorous woman in a black leather jerkin. She has dirty blonde hair and a tan face covered with smudges of grit. I'm Ilsa. Care for a drink? She points out the row of empty mugs, none of which are clean and none of which will ever be again. What can I get at this end? We have the standard inn fare. Beer is 2 coins and a room is 20. Room's expensive, but very, very nice. And not much worry about slimes. Why do you charge so much? We only have 2 rooms after all. Have to make what money off them we can. Do you have much of a slime problem? She looks very worried. There aren't many of them out here, thank heavens, but they're coming. Mark my words. Hope something's done about it soon. I'm worried sick about my daughter. Who's your daughter? Her name's Susie. She'll be around here somewhere, that little tomboy. I just hope if she sees the slime she has the sense to run, instead of throwing rocks at it or trying to make it a pet or some insane thing like that. Ilsa spends a moment getting a soft piece of study grit out of her eye. Eventually, she says, anything else? I'll take some beer. The beer is excellent if a bit gritty from all the dust. By way of conversation, Ilsa says, watch out for that weird priest. We have some odd people staying with us. What weird priest? He says his name's Paulo. He's in the first room. He says he teaches spells, but I think he's a bit creepy. Still, as long as he pays for his room and doesn't bug anybody, he's not so awful. I have to go. She tries to say something, but she is interrupted by a bout of coughing. Well, I like how we can just take a bunch of gold out of it. It's like dresser with no problem. A man with dark skin and intense expression sits at the table, reading a prayer book. He seems strangely unconcerned that you just barged into his room. He wears ominous, blood-red robes. Welcome, pilgrim. I am simply called Paulo, a traveler, a teacher. So why are you staying at this inn? I am a humble priest, wandering the lands and spreading my teachings. For now, I have found this village a pleasant place to stay. So you're humble. Sometimes it is a struggle to be humble, considering the foolish and idiocy I must encounter every day. But I manage. Why do you like this village? Pergies is pleasant and far from most of the monsters that afflict Avernum. I plan to stay here for some time. Alas, not all in this area are entirely savory. What area did you find most unsavory? The village of Delis, to the south. It's a rather immoral place. For example, in fact, some people there, and I consider them only barely human, committed the theft of a package of my herbs. Perhaps I can recover your stolen herbs? Delis is a home to all manner of pirate scum. I know for a fact that one of them took a package of herbs from a ship coming from the north, and that is hidden in the back room in the inn there. I'd reward well someone who brought that package to me. Just be careful. Those parasites protect their own. Paulo stares at you expectantly. I am glad to speak with you further. I have much to share. What do you teach? His face beams. Ah, you wish to take the path to enlightenment? Are you more interested in philosophy or magic? Magic, please. I know several simple rituals which may easily be adapted to the workings of your faith. Alas, I need to eat. I will require a small fee should you wish to purchase my knowledge. Fair enough. What spells can you teach? Paulo is a strange and cynical man, but he's able to provide instruction in some of the more practical and dangerous magical rituals. He has some in the shade that we can buy. We'll buy that. Philosophy sounds intriguing. I teach the divinely inspired philosophy of divine independence. What is divine independence? We have been given by our creators the greatest gift of all, the ability to act as independent creatures. This has a much ignored accompanying responsibility. However, the responsibility remain independent. Those who lose their independence are parasites. One should only take from others as part of a fair trade. So you don't care about the sick, poor, or young? Let's just say that the other churches are perfectly free to saddle themselves with the poor and crippled. We take only those who can help us, and who want the divine freedom to not help others. What sorts of fair trades? He thinks for a bit. Fair trades take all forms. For example, I recently tried to obtain a package of herbs for my art. Parasites took my herbs from me in a crude act of theft. Divine independence. I think I already know that too well, to be honest. But that is an interesting religion Jeff decided to include in this game. Can't imagine it's too popular with a lot of people, though. Especially those who are extremely extroverted. I want to like make a difference, save the world, stuff like that. But we're gonna go ahead and do his quest for him. I think he'll make it worth our time. All right, let me show you I'll pull the fire without scorching myself this time. It is an area effect spell, so it can do a lot of damage. Or it will, at the very least, keep that burning effect going. Okay, this is where we get his herbs, though. Let me make sure I'm positioned to where my mage isn't gonna like take damage here. You open the box and find a small package. It's wrapped in paper, stained, and has a strange aroma. Very peculiar. You wonder what about this package makes it necessary to hide it. Curse those magical traps. When you pick up the pouch, it emits a loud shriek for several seconds. When it finally quiets down, you hear ominous muttering coming from just outside. Fortunately, we have our two frontline fighters to take damage. Oh, I got very lucky with parry there, though. Dang. He is really trying to hit Zelena, though. Even if you hit somebody, Days can still buy you an extra turn. And Days is what I find myself using a lot here. Oh my goodness. Let's just keep him from using the turnouts as much as we can here. Oh, dagnabbit. So yeah, even if you do hit them or you try to hit them and you miss, you still can buy yourself an extra turn with thanks to Days. So keep that in mind. I probably could have utilized that a little bit more often while playing this. Oh my goodness, stop trying to run away, fool. Good lord. Oh my goodness. They were very... That was definitely beatable, but at the same time, they were still strong, though. Okay, and what's interesting about that encounter, too, is that in Exile 3 and also Avernum 3, that fight actually used to be a lot tougher because you would make the whole town hostile instead of just, like, certain people, so you would just have to escape the town, but the whole town would be mad at you for it. But I guess Jeff... changed it to where only like a couple bandits and a priest attack you, so you didn't have to worry about the whole town attacking you. I found your package. You present Paulo's herbs to him. Did you have any trouble? You tell him what happened. Oh, too bad. Well, your reward is well earned. He pulls out a fine silk tunic and hands it to you. This is a lovely garment, but it's not useful to me. A fair trade for services rendered. What was in that package? Scribane herb. A useful herb for meditation. I give it to my alkalites. It maintains their alertness and loyalty. Okay. Well, at least we got some XP for that, and it doesn't penalize your reputation anyway. So, not worried about that. Aranius silk. That might actually be good for my mage to wear, to be honest. Let's give it to him. Since he doesn't really need a whole bunch of bulky armor. Or can even wear it for that matter, but still. We're still investing in quite a bit of tankiness here. 2 traits, so we're going to get Nimble Finger, so we have a boost in tool use. And, oh yeah, he's bullwhip. I'm not going to invest in ambidextrous. Let's invest in strength. See if the bull weapons user. Put points into endurance. Nimble Fingers, but for Zeleno, we are going to invest in dual wielding eventually, so we are going to put point to ambidextrous, but we do need Nimble Fingers, so we have the maximum for that. Alright, one at the priest, one in resistance. I don't really care for sword mage, because I think mages work just fine without needing to wear armor. But what we can do is put one into intelligence and one into Nimble Fingers. Same thing, Nimble Fingers and intelligence. All right, make sure I did that right. But yeah, like I was saying, that originally made the whole town hostile as soon as you got Paulo's package, and you would just have to escape rather, and it was more preferable to escape. So I guess Jeff made the change so you don't have to kill the whole town or anything like that. Even though Pergies is not required for the storyline, beyond Lydon possibly giving you that hint about the slimes and all that. So yeah, it definitely wasn't. Pergies is relevant to the rest of the story here. So it's not like the whole making the whole town hostile had a significant effect in the original Avernum 3 and all that, but I still think it's better if a group of mana just attack you rather than making the whole town hostile anyway. It's still a refreshing change. Alright. Now, I would take on the slimes, but I am curious to explore Gutbar's pit here. So, you work your way down into a high-ceiling, foul-smelling cavern. There are bits of bone and fur all over the place. This is the lair of a particularly feral and nasty humanoid. So I'm going to go ahead and save the game right here, but I will see you all soon with the next part of Let's Play.